Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the Football Overseas YouTube channel, and welcome to another round of English Championship predictions and review and preview and all that sort of stuff. It is game week 31 that we go headlong into this weekend, and it's a 4-day weekend for the Championship. Okay, there's only single games on Friday, Sunday, Monday, but it's going right across the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So we have an interest in each of those days, and at least one match to savour on each of those days. So what happened last weekend? Well, yours truly, of course, hiding behind the sofa on Friday night. Bristol City 0, Derby County 5. What on earth was going on there? Derby, very powerful performance, and Bristol City were abject, I have to say. All sorts of mistakes right from the word go. I'm not sure about the team selection. Centre halves are not really centre halves. They're certainly not in the Championship class. So, or makeshift centre halves maybe. I know they've had a few injuries and a few leave, as we know. The door's been a bit of a revolving one, mostly out. Though they have made some signings this week. Won't go into the details here. It's not a Bristol City channel, but you know what I mean. I have to say something about my team, and it didn't start my week off very well. Weekend off very well, I have to say. Derby County 0, Bristol City 5. That was the Friday. Bristol City 0, Derby County 5. That was the sorry affair. If only the other way around. Well, there we go. So they, I think they're going to struggle now a little bit to stay in the playoff run. They're climbing a greasy pole and not getting up at all, really. Anyway, we shall see. A couple of signings may make a centre half as well. They paid £3 million for him. I can't remember his name. Isn't that dreadful? I haven't done the research. I've been just too busy keeping up with everything else. And what has been going on? Well, since I last spoke to you guys, 2 more head coaches have gone adrift, been set aside. Valerian Ismail has been sacked at Blackburn Rovers. They've tumbled into the bottom 3, as we know. And no surprise, Watford, I don't think. The 3 months is about as long as you can expect if you go to be a Watford manager these days. And Javi Gracia, if I've got that right, he resigned, actually. They lost 2-0 at home to Swansea, and I haven't read the detail on that either, but I presume he was a bit upset about lack of transfer activity, and because they had that really good purple patch, got up to 4th place if I remember, and I watched them a couple of times, once against Bristol City, in fact, on Sky, on the television, and they were very good. The transition, as I've always gone on about, the Watford way, it's been a nice one to watch under Javi Gracia, but he's no longer there, so they will be going for their next 3-month coach. 3-month contracted coach, and they'll see how they get on. It's a shame for Watford fans and the club. After all that stability years ago of Elton John and Graham Taylor, remember all of that, some of you I'm sure, and they're now struggling like this to get somebody to really get a grip of the club. We shall see. They're still in the playoff hunt, of course, as are Bristol City, although I poo-pooed it. They're only 4 points behind, but those places are starting to run out that you can grab. Anyway, so that was Watford. That's the 2 coaches we've lost. So there's a couple of teams on some bounce backs, maybe, managerless bounce backs, whatever it is. And what else happened? Well, that was oh yes, why have I not mentioned this already? Coventry are back to the pack. They've been chased down by Middlesbrough, or really given up the ghost a little bit in games. Not given up the ghost, but they've just given the points away, haven't they, at times? Again, they were 1-0 up last weekend at Queen's Park Rangers, but couldn't seal the deal. And QPR, as did Norwich in the previous match, away fixture anyway, and they ended up losing 2-1 again. So they are back in the pack, as I say, 58 points, Middlesbrough 58 points, but Coventry's early season blistering form has made sure they have that extra point as such from the goal difference they accrued. And they've got a 10-goal better goal difference than Middlesbrough. And then we have Hull sneaked into 3rd place because Ipswich struggled to beat Preston, who, as I think I used the phrase last week, having their tummies tickled for a bit, but they certainly showed that wasn't the case on Saturday, and they dug in and got a very good draw at Preston, yes, got a very good draw at Ipswich. So Ipswich dropped to 4th, Hull up to 3rd. Though Hull have had a couple of games this week, because they had a midweek catch-up match, and they drew 0-0 with Watford of all people. So Watford at least didn't lose their first match under whoever has got the temporary reins. And Hull went in. Yes, Hull after their 1-0 win at Blackburn would have expected to follow that up with a home win, but they didn't. But they are 3rd. Incredible. Still my team of the season, and I think they will be all the way through, just because of the backdrop to the start of the season and what they were faced with. So, Wrexham have found winning ways as well. They're back in the top 6. We'll just briefly touch on their results as we go through. So, this week's 4 playoff teams are Hull City, Ipswich, Millwall and Wrexham, who are still hanging in there very nicely indeed. So we go to the bottom. Sheffield Wednesday, and then it's Oxford, who have had 2 poor defeats since we last chatted. They've had a catch-up game as well and lost that. And they also lost to Birmingham City last weekend as well. And then Sheffield United in the week. So Matt Bloomfield's got a bit of a task on there, I think, to save them. They're 5 points adrift. 16 games to go, 15 games to go, whatever it is, depending on how many you've played. So it's I fear for Oxford a little bit. But I didn't fear for West Brom on the 4th of August or whenever it was. But here they are in the bottom 3. Can you believe that? They've sunk. They've hit rock bottom in a way. Well, they're obviously not rock bottom of the league, but they are rock bottom in as much that they're in the relegation zone. They can only get out and get better, you would think. A real dilemma at the moment for West Brom. There's even talk of having another change of coach. I just have no idea if that's going to come true at all. And they've only just, this guy's only been there a few matches, hasn't he? So it's all very disappointing for West Brom. I don't quite know how this has been allowed to happen from where they were last year. So stable, so, well, not much flair or anything, but even then they did slip out the playoffs, didn't they, at the very end? But yes, goodness me, what a surprise to see them anyway struggling. Portsmouth, my postcode team, where I live. So I hear a bit of noise about them. They had a game called off again in the week. Again, it was Ipswich. We've had a lot of rain down here on the south coast, I have to say, and it took its toll on the match this midweek against Ipswich for Portsmouth. But they did have an excellent 3-0 win last week against West Brom, of all people. Yes, the big game, and West Brom completely didn't turn up, really. Portsmouth absolutely outplayed West Bromwich Albion and fully deserved 3-0, and it should have been more, I have to say, from the highlights I saw at least. So there we are. And Portsmouth, just to finish on them, they have taken 8 points out of the last 12 and are only 1 point above West Bromwich Albion. So that shows you how vital this little run they've been on has been for them. They were really in the mire. And they're still not out of it by any means. But they've made a couple of signings, and very, very, very good signings that appear. One or two made an impact already. That's what you want. You have to bring in players that are better than what you've got. Portsmouth were sinking fast with the team they had, the basics of the squad they had. So there we go. So there's a quick review. Oh, that quick was it? Nearly 8 minutes or 9 minutes. Far too long. But there we go. I like to have a little chat, as you know. You can always fast forward through this. As you all, anyone regular watches, just whiz through and get to the bits you want. I do it in scorecard order, if you like, or fixture list order. And there we go. So let's get on then to this 4-day weekend in the Championship, starting on Friday night down at Charlton, and Charlton versus Queen's Park Rangers. So a good London derby to get things underway on Friday night. Charlton had a really good win at Leicester. Context to that is Leicester had a player sent off in the first half. However, still got to be done. Charlton not used to winning away, not used to winning that much in recent weeks. So that was an excellent win. And Queen's Park Rangers, of course, toppled the league leaders and pulled in that final tug of their shirt so to be level at the top. So Charlton then I think might just do this. I'm going to give them a bit of a surprise to start the weekend. QPR sort of nudging their mid-table, 43 points. Still a chance, but, you know, they've got to really make a move now if they're going to do anything this season. But I think Charlton will take the points here. I'm going to take a little bit of a surprise. Starts off Charlton 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Now, Derby County, I'm not talking much about them. Brilliant 5-0 win down at Ashton Gate, as I've spoke about already. Ipswich, as I say, had a sort of a late recovery against Preston. And they go to Derby. So this is a real test for Ipswich if they want to maintain that pressure on the top two. I think they might just go away with something, but I don't think it'll be the full three. I think Derby will surely want to back that up. It doesn't matter who you're playing. If you've won 5-0, I read a manager quote once. He'd rather play a team that had lost 5-0 than had won 5-0, because sorry, it's more difficult to play a side that has lost 5-0 than has won 5-0. He feels, because they're more garnered to get things right, whereas a little bit of potential complacency if you win 5-0. Well, we've cracked it. Here we are. Anyway, I think this will be a good game. Two good sides, powerful sides. I'm going to go Derby County 2, Ipswich Town 2. Now on to Norwich, who are, although only 1 point off relegation, they are, in my view, making strides up the table in the right direction. They did lose 1-0 to Middlesbrough, no disgrace in that, gave a decent account of it, but couldn't get the equaliser, having gone down early on. Playing Blackburn Rovers, who've got this new, they've dismissed their manager and got a different voice, at least for a while, until they make a permanent appointment. I don't think I've not heard anything. I'm doing this midweek this week because I'm away at the weekend, so I'm having to do it a little bit early, so things may develop by the time you watch the games. Anyway, I think Norwich will take the points here against Blackburn. They'll want to just make sure that they are going in the right direction, getting away from the bottom. Big game on paper, really. 32 points, 33 points, but I think Norwich will ease past Blackburn. Norwich City 3, Blackburn Rovers 1. Now, Southampton, who probably had their best result in weeks, winning 2-0 away at Stoke. A clean sheet, which is a rarity for Southampton, especially away from home, and a win. They've not been on the cards too much lately. I think they're playing Watford, or a bit of all at sea with managerial resignations and goodness knows what else in that area. They lost 2-0 to Swansea. They got a decent point at Hull. Let's not take that away. No goals have scored in those two matches, of course, and that they were just so good. They were just so fluid. It's just incredible how the season has changed. A topsy-turvy team. Some teams in form for a while, and then back they come. And I think I heard a commentator say at the weekend, it is the most incredible championship for a long time for the change and the sequences that we're having. So, I'm going to take Southampton to take this, though, quite comfortably. Southampton 3, Watford 0. On to Birmingham versus Leicester, another bit of a Midlands showdown. Leicester really struggling, not in day. Well, 38 points, they've got to get some more points. But surely somebody will come in there after Marty Cifuentes has left and take the reins and get them back on target. That's surely got to be the aim and stabilise ready for next season. Birmingham City, of course, still have harbour looking at the top six. They haven't really been up there yet. And I always partner them with Wrexham, as you know, because they came up together and have very similar stardust boardrooms, if you like. And Wrexham at the moment just showing the better touch. But Birmingham 5 points behind the playoffs, got to start soon. I think they might take this. It's Leicester may well be there for the taking at the moment. So I'm going to take Birmingham City 2, Leicester City 1. Leicester, of course, lost to Charlton, and Birmingham had a decent win down at Oxford. Now, Coventry City against Oxford. What happens to Coventry? Will they feel the heat, or will they say, okay, we're back where we were with the gang. Let's start again and get that early season feel back again and start to. Their target's going to be, let's get a gap again. Let's get a gap of 6-7 points in the next month. That's got to be their thought mindset, and that's what Frank's got to drill into them. I think they'll start here with 3 points on that quest. Oxford, as I say, a couple of defeats. Excuse me. A couple of defeats, and it's really sunk them deep into the mire. They are 5 points behind, worse goal difference than Blackburn as well. So we'll see. You never know. They have pulled a few rabbits out of the hat, haven't they? Been known to do that across the season. They need to pull a few more. Need to pull a whole field of rabbits out of hats, I think. But we shall see. Coventry against Oxford. Coventry City 3, Oxford City 0. Not Oxford United 0. Oxford City is a football team, by the way. Hull City and Bristol City next, 2 playoff contenders. One very much in the thick of it, one very much not in the thick of it. Hull City against Bristol City then. Bristol City smarting after their 5-0 I think a 5-0 reverse at home just shows weakness somewhere. Yes, you can get beat by a better side. This is a team that were rubbing shoulders in the league table together. So I just think it shows, a little bit of a lack of character on the night. I'm not saying there's a lack of character in the squad per se, but that was a real eye opener. Very poor. Anyway, so I think they'll struggle at Hull. It's not one of their favourite grounds. I've been to Hull on New Year's Day and watched them, and they losing 2-1 in the last minute or something. I fully remember that. Why was I going up there on New Year's Day, all the way from Bristol, as I was living then? Anyway, there we go. That's a little bit of an anecdote. I think it'll be the same score. I think Hull City will see them off. It'll be close. They won't get mullered again like they did, but it'll be Hull City 2, Bristol City 1, I think. Now, the 2 Ps next, Preston North End and Portsmouth. Portsmouth, as I say, on this really good little run. Things have fallen into place for them a little bit. A poor West Brom. They got back well in the local derby. All of that has gone on in the last month or so. And they've picked up 8 points out of 12, which has been really good, as I say. Preston were looking a bit tired and a bit down and out, weren't they? With 3 games, no goals, all of that, and some big defeats. But they did stop the slide at Ipswich. No mean feat. So I think they may well have something in them here, and they may well stop the Portsmouth improvement. I'm going to go just to nick it. Preston just to nick it, purely on home form. And, of course, Callum Lang, who moved from Portsmouth to Preston on deadline day for over £1 million, I think, 1.5 million. I'm not sure it was a decent sum of money in Portsmouth terms, or even 2 million, I don't know. And he is the first game up. Will he play? I don't know. He's allowed to. It's none of that. He's not on loan or anything, so he can play. So it'll be interesting to see if he's going to stoke it up a bit. But I think they will take the points. Preston North End 2, Portsmouth 1, he says quietly, hoping my neighbours are not listening with a glass to the wall. Right, what else have we got? West Bromwich Albion against Stoke City. West Brom, as I say, abject last week. Almost as bad as Bristol City, if not worse. And Stoke City, as I say, went down to Southampton. Though Southampton just had a really good overall performance. They could have easily won that by more. So Stoke and West Brom licking wounds that are quite gaping wounds from last week. So I don't think there's going to be much give here. I'm going to go the lesser spotted West Brom 0, Stoke 0. On we go then. 3 to go. The last game on Saturday then is Wrexham at home to Millwall. This is a good one. Right next to each other in the table, 5th and 6th, or if you want to put it the right way around, 6th versus 5th. And I think the 6th team will come out on top. Their home form has been really good, excellent of late, or most of the season, and it's really propelled them into this top 6 option, a real good chance for yet another promotion. Will that be 4 on the trot, 5 on the trot? Goodness knows. So we've got Wrexham against Millwall. Millwall had a rough and tumble, 1 each draw with Sheffield United. I'm going to take Wrexham to Wrexham's home form to seal the deal. Wrexham 2, Millwall 0. 2-0. First of those is quite a quiet affair, I think, down at Swansea. Swansea versus Sheffield Wednesday. That'll midday. We'll all need to wake up a bit for this one, I think. But you never know. Swansea really just making sure they stay clear of trouble. I don't think they can make up the 8 points, and not with so many teams between them. This is the thing, you see. There's so many teams in the mathematical chance. It's so difficult to leapfrog them. And Swansea, I don't think, have got much chance. But 16 games to go, 48 points on the board to play for. You just never know. But I'm going to take a gentle game here. Sheffield Wednesday haven't scored for a while, so I'll give them a goal, I think, here, this one. But I think Swansea will take the points. Swansea City 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. And finally, another Sheffield side on Monday night against Middlesbrough. So this is a big game. Now, Sheffield United, will they? Although I've just sort of written off Swansea's chances, I can't then write on Sheffield United's chances when they're on the same number of points. So I think they're just, after their start of 6 games, whatever it was, without a point. So they've played a 30, I know I keep doing this, but I just love my numbers now and again. And they've played a 24-game season so far, really, points-wise, or points collection-wise, and got 40 of them. So it's been a pretty good recovery by Chris Wilder. I think, again, because of too many teams, I think the top 6 is a bit too far, but they will be not giving up, that's for sure. So, this is going to be a real toughie for Middlesbrough, I think, as well. Of course, they will know Coventry's result again by then, so they have a bit of an advantage if that's what it is. So they'll know they'll want to keep up, and they'll know Hull and Ipswich as well. They could even be just a point. If Hull do beat Bristol City, Hull will be just a point behind second spot. So they're breathing down their necks. I think it'll be a draw. That's a bit sitting on the fence, the final game, but there we go. Two informed sides, really. Sheffield United 1, Middlesbrough 1, so there we go. We are through another week. My voice is just about through another week as well. Game week 31. Please like and subscribe the channel if you haven't done. If you have done, thank you so much. It is much appreciated. Please comment on this clip as well. I do reply to anything, as does the administrators, the admin team. So please put your team in there, put what you think in the comments if you wish to. That's it for me then. I will be back because I don't think there's any midweek game next week. I had a look. It'll be game week 32 by the time we speak again. And will there be more managerial changes? Well, there'll certainly, I'm sure, be managerial appointments to talk about to both Blackburn and Watford, but we shall see. So there we go. Have a great weekend. Stay healthy, stay safe. And I wish you all the best with your footballing teams across this next weekend. Thank you for watching.